Hello and welcome back to Fill Zone. And if you are new to the channel, why not consider hitting that subscribe button and clicking the bell so you'll be updated when we upload future videos. In today's video, we're going to be working in Motion 5 and we're going to be having a look at how we created that little camera shutter effect transition. And so let's jump straight in and let's have a look at how we put that together. Okay, as you can see, I've got a standard 1920 by 1080 project. It's 30 frames per second and 1 second long, as it's going to be a transition. So the first thing that we need to do is we are going to go to our group and we're going to grab our Bezier tool and draw in a triangle. Dimensions not important, but something similar to this is good. To that, we're going to add a drop shadow and not do anything to the drop shadow at this point. We're then going to replicate it and set it to circle. We'll set it to outline. And we're going to set the number of points to 10. And we're going to align, click align angles. Then go to properties. We'll click the little arrow, reset parameters to center it up. Okay, so we're underway. Now what we need to do is we need to scale up that so that it kind of fills the screen a little bit more. Again, dimensions not important. We'll go to the replicator now and we'll play with that angle until we've got it so that it's lined up and it's closed at this point. Now at this point I'm going to go to my original Bezier and I'm going to go to stylize and add extrude. And that will give it a little bit of depth, but I don't want too much because it's a very thin lens. So I'm going to drop that down to around about 15 or so. And that's probably okay for the moment. And then we'll click on the replicator, and what we're going to do now is go to filters and distortion, and we'll make it a sphere. So now it's starting to look like a little camera shutter now. So next we will go to back to our Bezier. We're going to adjust the drop shadow until we've got that as we want it. I'm going to take out the blur completely and decrease the distance, probably around about 2 or 3. It's really up to you, these settings. And we'll go back to our extrude and just play about with this a little bit until you're really happy that you've got the shutter looking in the way that you want it. Okay, we're not going to do much more. It looks pretty good to me. So now I'm going to go close that group and I'll go back to my replicator and I'm going to open up the shutter to its start position. Somewhere about like that. Okay, so now we can go to stage 2. So what I need to do now is to build a camera around it. So I'll click a new group, and to that new group I'm going to add a circle. So we'll press Shift Option and drag out a nice circle in the middle. Go to Properties, click on the little arrow on position, reset parameter to center it. Okay, so now we'll go to our shape, take out the fill and add an outline. And we're going to increase the width and then change the color to a grey color, dark grey color, something about like that. And then what we're going to do is increase its width until I've got the width somewhere where I need it, because now I'm going to scale that up until it's outside the shutter that we created. So now it's the background for the camera that we're going to create, the camera shape that we're going to create. We'll add another circle and then we are going to reset that to center it again. We'll go to shape, take out the fill, add an outline and then increase. We want a thin little line, so we'll just increase it to how you want it and then we'll scale that up and we'll position that outside our grey area. Okay, so now we are going to change the width a little bit because it's a little bit thick for my liking. Okay, no problem. We'll now go to our circle and duplicate. right click, duplicate, and we've created another circle. We'll go to properties, it's the same circle shape, and we're just going to drag that out to create to where we want that lens at the outside of the lens to actually begin. We'll drag the other one out to where we want that one, and then what we're going to do is increase the scale of the shutter. So we will then reduce the scale of our initial grey circle outline till we've got something about like that, and we're then going to close everything up so that it all fits very nicely. This is very simple to do once you get the hang of it. You're just adjusting everything so that it fits in your screen very easily. Okay, so having got that done, we're now going to duplicate our original white circle. We're going to make that a grey color, or we might even make it black. No, we'll make it a dark grey color so I can see it. And then we're going to reduce the scale and then go back to shape, and I'm going to increase that till it fills in that black area there, because that will be transparent otherwise. And then now I will change the color to black. So now nothing in the outside is going to be actually transparent. Okay, so we've built that now, and then the next thing to do is to make a little line. Hold down Shift and drag out a simple little line. That line then, we are going to just increase its width a little bit, not too much. It's all down to personal taste. And then replicate it again. And this time we're going to set it again to a circle, again to outline. We'll set the number of points this time to 60 and align the angle. Go to properties and reset parameter on position to center it. Then we'll go back to the replicator and increase the radius until it sits inside those two white lines. And that's starting to look very nice now. We'll go and change the color of the outside. It's a little bit light for my liking. So now we have a really nice camera effect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that group with all the lines and circles, and I'm going to keyframe on rotation, and then move to the end of the project and set it to 10 degrees. And now that group rotates around the shutter that we created earlier. Just gives it a little bit something else. Now we'll go back to our Bezier and we'll make any adjustments for color. We're just checking here that everything looks okay if you change the color, and make any adjustments that you want to, if you need to, on the extrude. But I think it looks okay. So we'll keyframe our shutter on its angle. So we'll set the angle to where we want it to start and move forward 15 frames. Then what we'll do is we'll close the shutter by rotating the angle. We'll just close the shutter, move to the end of the project, and then open up the shutter back until you've got it in the position that you want it to finish. So it starts at open, closes, and opens up again. And you've created a very nice little camera shutter effect. It doesn't actually work like that, a camera shutter, but it looks like a camera shutter. So what I'm going to do now is grab both of those groups and group them together. So to the original group now, the new group, I'm going to add a behavior, basic motion, fade in, fade out. I will set the in to 5 and the out to 8. You can change these values if you like. Some people like it with only 5 at the end. And now you can see it fade, the whole thing fades in and fades out and creates that really nice camera shutter effect. What we need to do now is to turn it into a transition. So go to File, Convert Project to Transition. Now you'll see it says Add Placeholders, that's fine. And then it will create the transition placeholders. So now I need to move forward to 15 frames. And I will press O on the keyboard, select the green, press O on the keyboard, select the red and press I on the keyboard to set the in and out positions at 15 frames. And that's done. So if we have a look at what we've got now, we've got that really nice camera shutter effect. It's very pretty little transition. Okay, we can go back to our original Bezier. You can still make some adjustments here. You can change the color. I like that blue. So let's make it that nice blue color. Then I'll add, go and click on Publish. Now when I go to Project, you can see that the color is added, and in Final Cut Pro I'll be able to use that to change the color of the shutter. And that's it. That's a very nice little effect. Go to File and Save As, and save it to wherever you want to. We're going to call it Shutter 4, and I've created a category called My Transitions, so I'll save it to that. And I've already got one of those, but I'll replace it. And that's it. We're done. Let's go over to Final Cut Pro. I've loaded into the timeline a couple of video clips. Go to My Transition, where we saved it to. Look for Shutter 4, and we'll drag that as we would any other transition onto our timeline. And we'll create that transition. Let's just move in, zoom in a little bit so I can see that it's centered, and it is. And what we then have, once it's rendered out, is this really nice transition created very, very simply in Motion 5. It's a very, very simple thing to do. I can then click on the transition, and then from the menu I can change where it says fill color. I can change the color, and now we can make it into that nice green color, and you can change it to whatever color you want it. You could even have the standard gray. And that's it for this video. If you thought it was useful or you enjoyed it, then please give us a big thumbs up. And if you are new, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and click the bell so you'll be updated when we upload future tutorials for Motion 5. We also, if you are a beginner in Motion 5, we also have a brand new Facebook group, support group, which you can join, and I'll leave a link for that in the description below. And all that remains to be said now is I will see you in the next video.